right, back out to the Progressive Insurance guest line. Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Get your quote at Progressive.com today. And here he is. Well, what a great show he does on his YouTube channel, Montero Unboxing, a writer for Ring Magazine, and an expert on all things sweet science, and also picking up man card violations, by the way. Here he is, the great Mike Montero. What's up, Mike?
What's up, Dave? Are you wearing your mask? You better be wearing your mask, or
Absolutely.
you get a man card violation.
Well,
okay.
I think we might have another one here. You know, I called you earlier, and then you called me back, and you said you were in the store. Now, my question for you would be, Mike Montero, was your lovely fiancée Tiffany with you, and did she tell you that you cannot answer the phone while you're shopping? Was that the case?
No, we were actually in the supermarket in the checkout line right when you called. So I didn't want to be that guy that answers the phone in the middle of the supermarket and starts yapping. So, yeah, I was trying to be polite, Dave. And, you know, if I have to get a man card violation just for being polite, so be it.
Now, you said she was with you?
Yes, she was.
Did she give you the look out of the corner of the eye, like, don't answer that phone?
She actually forgot something and ran back to get it while I waited with the cart. So she didn't even know the phone rang.
Do you believe that, Producer Jack?
That I work at a grocery store too, so I see that happen a lot. So I think he gets a pass, Dave.
All right, pass. No man card.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that.
Well, Mike, first of all, before we get started into the nuts and bolts here, I think Oscar De La Hoya needs an intervention, Mike. People who love him, people who care about him. At 47 years old, I was there that night. He took one of the worst beatings I've ever seen from Manny Pacquiao. 12 years ago, he couldn't pull the trigger and had no reflexes. Now at 47, and he says he wants real fights and he wants to fight the top guys. Can he get a boxing license, and do people around him who care about him, can they stop him from doing this?
Unfortunately, I think he can get a boxing license. That's what's crazy. You know, Dave, I think COVID's just making everybody bored. I mean, the quarantine is affecting people in different ways. You know, Oscar lives in Southern California where the quarantine is still pretty strong, right? Yes. And all these old fighters, they want to come back right now. They want to get back in the ring. The thing is, you know, Oscar, he's in amazing shape for his age. He's in great shape, just like guys like Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, a bunch of different guys who talked about coming back. It's a lot different when you start getting hit in the head. So I want to see how Oscar thinks once he starts sparring and taking punches. Is he going to be as motivated to get back in the ring? But I'm with you, man. I think back to when he fought Pacquiao, and that's over 10 years ago, and he took an absolute shellacking from a guy a lot smaller than him. He wants to go in there against killers, you know, half his age right now that are his size. Get out of here. No, that's crazy.
It's a really, really bad idea. Mike Montero joining us here. Montero Unboxing. By the way, how can we watch your YouTube channel? Everybody loves watching that show.
Well, thanks. Montero Unboxing on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter and like all social media at Montero Unboxing. But my podcast, The Neutral Corner, which goes live every Monday, 5 o'clock Eastern, got picked up by the Ring Magazine platform. So we're actually on Ring's YouTube channel now, the Ring Digital. So make sure you check it out there. Every Monday, 5 o'clock Eastern. Tomorrow, we're going to have Raul Marquez on the show. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, Mike, yesterday, Dillian Whyte against Alexander Povetkin. Povetkin, 40 years old. Most people were heavily favoring Whyte. And if he gets past this fight, Mike Montero, he gets a shot at for the heavyweight championship of the world. Wow. He knocks Povetkin down twice. Then he gets nailed with like a little hybrid left hook, left uppercut, kind of out of the Razor Ruddock school of punching, and he's knocked out cold. What a stunner yesterday.
That is why we watch boxing, Dave. You know, I was thinking about this, and of course I'll talk about it in detail on my show, but you mentioned it. Dillian Whyte is the younger guy, bigger, stronger. He outweighed Povetkin by like 30 pounds, and it wasn't blubber. He was in shape. He was like 250-something. I think Povetkin was in his 220s. So just a big, strong, physical guy. He had dropped Povetkin twice in the previous round, and then all of a sudden, one punch, boom, it changes everything. It was, I think, the knockout of the year. I don't think that's going to be topped. But I was tweeting about this ever since, all weekend. There is nothing else in sports that compares to the knockout in boxing. I mean, everything can change in an instant. No other sport can compete with that. You think back a couple of years ago to where it was the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons in that Super Bowl, right, where the Falcons were up big at halftime. The Patriots made probably the best comeback in Super Bowl history. Yep. But that took place over like an hour, over like a whole half of football, right? That's like an hour. In boxing, you get that in a fraction of a second. That is why we love the sport. That's why, in my humble opinion, and yes, I'm slightly biased, it is the best sport in the world.
I'm with you. Me too. I'm with you. The great Mike Montero joining Dave Smith here at Sports Map Radio and SportsMapRadio.com. Well, Sean Porter with a good win yesterday in the welterweight division, probably getting back in the picture. And looking ahead a little bit, we've got that Errol Spence, Danny Garcia fight coming. That's interesting, Mike Montero, because I'd be all over Errol normally here by late stoppage or maybe an easy decision. But after the car accident, after breaking his jaw, after the concussion, and from what I understand, he hasn't been sparring or he hasn't been sparring a heck of a lot. But we just don't know now, do we? I'm still picking Spence, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as it was going to be before the car accident.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, Dave. I mean, if this fight had happened a year or two ago, I would have picked Spence by late stoppage. I think he probably would have caught Garcia late. He's a naturally bigger, stronger guy. He's busting at the seams at welterweight. He's a big, strong, physical, power-punching welterweight, explosive. But after that car accident, it's been almost a year. He just started sparring recently, so we don't know how he's going to take a punch. I think all of his teeth got knocked out, or at least most of them. He had to have reconstructive surgery on his jaw. So we just don't know how he's going to take a big shot. And the one thing Danny Garcia can do really, really well is counter left hooks on the inside. Can he get Spence to reach with the right hand, time it, at mid-range and hit him with a counter left hook? If he does that, nails him right on the jaw, that fight's going to get interesting real quick. So normally I wouldn't be that excited about that fight, but given all these X factors, I'm really interested in that one. Everyone's going to be watching that fight.
Evidently, Canelo always fights on Cinco de Mayo and then also Mexican Independence Day in September, but I guess he's not going to be fighting in September this year. So what's next for him? I think we'd all love to see a third Triple G fight, but I don't know if that's happening anytime soon. So who's Canelo going to fight next, and what weight class is it going to be in?
Dave, I know as much as you know regarding to Canelo's next opponent, which is nothing. I mean, this is the second year in a row that he's not going to fight on Mexican Independence Day weekend. That's a big deal. He's not only the most popular boxer from Mexico, but he's one of the most popular athletes, one of the most popular celebrities, period. So for him to not fight around that holiday, which is actually a much more important holiday to Mexicans and Mexican Americans than Cinco de Mayo is. Cinco de Mayo is seen as more of an American kind of holiday. So it's a big deal that he's not fighting the second year in a row on that weekend. And they were probably going to fight Callum Smith at 168 pounds at super middleweight, but I don't know if that fight's going to happen yet. And I don't know if Canelo Alvarez is going to fight at all this year. We just don't know. And it really, unfortunately, Dave, it's come down to money. Right now, we can't have fans at the events, and fans buy tickets. Tickets generate revenue. Without that live gate revenue, it's difficult to pay some of these superstar fighters their, eight-figure guarantees. And Canelo is the highest-paid fighter in the sport. He has a massive guarantee from DAZN. So it's going to be up to him to take a pay cut. And so far, it seems he's just been unwilling to do that. That's his prerogative. But we just saw Vasily Lomachenko agreed to take a pay cut to make a big lightweight showdown for all the marbles at lightweight against Teofimo Lopez. And that fight's going to be not on pay-per-view. It's going to be on regular ESPN in mid to late October. So, I mean, that's awesome. There it is, a superstar fighter like Lomachenko willing to take a pay cut to get a fight done. And Canelo just doesn't seem willing to do that right now.
I can't wait for that Teofimo Lopez Loma fight coming up in October. And I didn't know that was on regular ESPN. That's great news for fight fans, Mike. But, well, that's Loma's the master boxer, the master technician. He has more experience than Teofimo does. And most people think Loma's going to win. But, boy, I tell you what, Teofimo with either hand can get you out of there with one shot. He is a dangerous fighter.
Yeah, I mean, we could see a scenario like we just saw this weekend with the heavyweight fight between Whyte and Povetkin. Povetkin, even though he's in his 40s, he's, long in the tooth, he's past his prime, he was seen as the better boxer than Dillian Whyte. And all of a sudden, he was able to use that skill to land one big explosive shot and get the win. It's somewhat of a different situation with Lomachenko and Lopez, but everybody sees Lomachenko, of course, as the superior boxer. He's much more experienced. He's probably the better athlete overall, and he does everything technically very, very well. If not great. But Lopez is young, strong, really explosive. We've seen what he can do if he lands flush. If Lomachenko gets caught slipping for 1 second in that fight, it can be all over. And I love that all parties involved deserve credit, Dave. It's not just Lomachenko. He took a pay cut. But Lopez, his team stepped up to the plate to make the deal. Top Rank, the promoter, did what they had to do. And ESPN deserves credit. I'm not the biggest fan of ESPN these days, but they stepped up and they put a little more money into the pot to keep that fight off of pay-per-view. That is the best matchup of the year on paper, and it's on regular cable.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Tyson Fury said this week, he's supposed to have his third fight with Deontay Wilder in December, but he said, I'm not waiting for you. I'm going to move on to somebody else. So what's the problem there? Is there a holdup with money? Is that December date in trouble? Well, I thought that was a set fight.
Yeah, they keep going back and forth. Wilder's side has mentioned that maybe it'll happen early next year. I think Fury's side wants to get to it, which I don't blame him. Again, Dave, it comes down to that live gate revenue that we just don't have right now. I think that originally when they, set aside that December date, they were hoping that they would be able to have fans and they could put it in T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. And maybe you can't fill up the arena 100%, but maybe you can get, make a social distancing type of thing where, every 3 seats you can put a fan there. But we still don't know if that's going to happen. So there's so much up in the air with that. And if you don't have the ticket revenue, you're not going to be able to generate enough money to pay the fighters. So I don't know how that's going to affect the future of both Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Contractually, are they obligated to sit and wait until they can make that fight? Or can Tyson Fury move forward and take a voluntary defense? I hope he can. Because if he can make a voluntary defense, he's one of the most popular fighters in the world right now. He needs to be on TV. He needs to be in the ring.
Mike, is the Mike Tyson Roy Jones thing going to happen? I know it was pushed back to December at the StubHub Center out in Carson. Now there's talk it might not happen at all. What do you hear about that?
Yeah, that's just a mess. That is just a soap opera, man. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't want to tell you one way or the other. I honestly do not know. I think on Tyson's side, they were all good with it. And really what that fight was going to be is kind of a launch for his new company, kind of like a big, expensive commercial for his new company, the Legends Only League. But for Roy Jones, he said he wants more money now. First, there was going to be headgear. Then they wanted no headgear. There was going to be no judging. No fighter was going to win. It was just going to be an exhibition. Now one side wants judges involved. So they keep going back and forth, and I honestly don't even know if it's going to happen at this point.
So let us know again when we can see your YouTube channel, and congratulations on the Ring Magazine thing, the Ring TV.
Thank you so much, Dave. And by the way, I just want to announce it right now. I think I already told you this, but me and my fiance are getting married next week. So
good for
I'll
you.
be an honest man, and we will be officially married here in less than a week.
Well, you've made a very, very good decision there. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know if I'd say the same for her, but I will say it for you.
Yeah, well, I would expect no less.
Well, I will expect you to come on as a guest next week on your honeymoon night. So you got to get your priorities straight.
Okay, will do.
There he goes. The soon-to-be married Mike Montero Unboxing on the YouTube channel and now on Ring TV as well. And, of course, you can read his columns in Ring Magazine as well. Always love talking boxing with Mike. And again, my congratulations to he and the lovely Tiffany getting married next week. Producer Jack, let's call him in his hotel room on his honeymoon suite on his wedding night and try to get him to come on the air.
Do you think that would be a man card violation, Dave?
Bothering a man on his honeymoon, is that a man card violation?
It's definitely breaking the bro code. I don't know about man card violation.
Yeah, you know what? Blocking a guy on his wedding night?
Yeah, I think we should both get one for even suggesting it.
You and I would both get a man card violation. It's Dave Smith and the Dave Smith Show here at Sports Map Radio.